Now that we're heading into spring, it's the perfect time to apply a mulch to your garden. There's many good reasons for applying a mulch. The first is to improve the soil. All these mulches, apart from one I'm going to show you, will eventually make its way into the soil and improve the structure of the soil. You'll also find they will suppress weeds, and you'll also find they'll warm the soil up to give things a really good kickstart. It's almost like a duvet for your border. So I've got mulches here that are suitable for the organic gardener. I'm going to start first of all with this organic farmyard manure. Really feels lovely actually, it's beautifully rich, and that is a fantastic top layer for any bed or border. It will work its way into the soil far quicker than the other mulches I'm going to show you, but that's not a bad thing. So your soil improving and giving that nice spring layer. So perfect solution is the manure, especially if your soil is quite poor and you feel it needs to be improved. So you're looking at adding adding a layer a couple of inches deep. Then we're moving on to cocoa shell. Now I remember when I was a student, gosh, 15 years ago, this was all the rage, it was the new thing. It's a byproduct from the chocolate industry, and as you can see it's a good looking mulch. It almost looks like a leaf mould. But a few things to just note with this. It is organic, it will suppress weeds, it does look good, but if you don't wet it down after applying, it will blow around the garden on a windy day because it's very light. But that makes it really easy to buy the bags at the garden centre and put them in the back of the car, so there's a sort of for and against there. Now, it used to smell quite strongly of chocolate when it first came out, but it doesn't actually. I don't think you can smell chocolate, so there's not an unpleasant smell there. The one thing to watch though is it does contain, as chocolate does, something called theobromine, which is quite dangerous for dogs. So if you have a dog, especially a puppy, I would avoid this. Now once applied, again a couple of inch layer, water in, and it will kind of glue itself together and create a really nice matte mulch for the top of your borders. Now moving on to something that most people have used in their time is chipped bark. Now this will keep the water in the soil, so if you've got it's sort of moisture retaining. Again, it's organic. You need a good couple of inches layer, perfect for a shrubbery. It will suppress the weeds brilliantly. It will keep the border warm. So yes, a really, really useful product. It's also quite useful for making woodland paths. So a lot of people use quite thick layers of this to keep the weeds down on a path area, and you could put a layer of sort of porous matting below it to really stop the weeds. So always buy a chipped bark which has got FSC approved on the back, so you know that it's got it's come from a reputable source. So again, very, very useful, very decorative, looks lovely. And then last of all, I've got Strulch here. Now a reader contacted me about this and said, Tamsin, you must try this product, it's absolutely wonderful. It claims to stop 95% of the weeds growing, and it does so. It's absolutely brilliant for weed suppressing. So it will form a lovely layer, again a couple of inches deep, over decorative beds, around your fruit bushes, anywhere. It's suitable for anywhere, it's organic. It's used at the Eden Project, and again a very good looking product. It doesn't smell. It's great. So you've got lots of different options there. Really easy to spread, really lightweight to work with. Now I've got something quite different down here. I've got from Botanico a mulching sheet. Now this is actually more useful for crops. So if you're going to grow lettuce, or you want to have strawberry beds, you want to warm up the soil very quickly. This will obviously warm the soil up, so put it down on a warm day. You'll get faster growth if you plant through this. The only difficulty is that you've got to hold it down in place. So take two of you. You either need some little tent pegs or weight it down with some other heavier mulch like the chipped bark, but that is quite tricky to do. It's almost like laying a lino in the garden, so it might take a couple of you. It's a generous 10-metre roll, so there's lots of it, and literally you cut across in the plastic, as I've done here, and pop your plants through there. So make the cross as small as you can, but obviously you've got to think about watering with this, because water won't get through this. You may need to water directly over the plants so they don't dry out. So another option, but for quite a different use. So I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into the choices there are with mulches. There's also gravels that you can use, but they are more decorative. But really for suppressing weeds and for retaining water and for a good looking garden and where the soil, where it worked into the soil, I think you've got some sensible options here.